Hey, it's Goldie, everybody. Hey, I cannot believe I am finally live. Okay. I only got about an hour because my kids will be coming home soon. So let's go ahead and get started. So, you all know that the Diddy trial has officially begun this week. There has been so much stuff going on, like so many things have happened over the past couple days. And I really want to like get into it so that we can go ahead and like have a starting place. Okay. So next week we'll be going live every day so that we can read the updates. But court is still in session today. So court is still in session for about another hour or so. So we'll get as much done as we can done today. And then we'll go ahead and catch up fresh early Monday morning. Now, I dropped a video earlier today. This was one of my longest videos ever, and I had so much fun putting this video together. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat, just in case. Y'all know I'm a little rusty because I ain't been live in a long time. Let me go ahead and make a comment. Yeah. These kids have broke my keyboard, so it's a little sticky. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Y'all, of course, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe as we get going, okay? But now, so I dropped a video earlier today, and this is one of my longest videos. I really had a good time putting this video on. Now, the thing is that some of you know that I wanted to be a lawyer, okay? I'm not a lawyer, and I do not give legal advice, okay? So don't, use my perspective as legal authority, all right? But your girl know a little bit of something, okay? So what I do know, I am going to share, and we are going to talk about it. This case is so interesting. There's so much to discuss, and I really would love to discuss this with you all every day. So prepare to see me next week. Come join me. So anyway, in my video that I dropped earlier today, and I have a few more videos coming because I want to recap everything in digestible bites so that we can really not be overwhelmed, but really pay attention to what's going on. Um, the the video that I dropped this morning, I listed the charges and what the criteria for meeting the charges, the standard, the threshold would be. Okay, so when you are listening to this testimony, a lot of us are getting like very elevated, very excited over some of the things that we're hearing in the trial. But does this stuff really bring us closer to a guilty verdict or a not guilty verdict? There is this whole thing of a hung jury or, deadlock with the jury or something like that. But I really want us to begin to think about what we are hearing and kind of see if it goes towards the prosecution or goes towards the defense. Now, in my opinion, a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing from Cassie right now is not really working in her favor. As as it stands right now, this case, from Cassie's perspective, and I understand that this is their star witness, this case sounds like a domestic violence case. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong. He's not wrong for what he's done to Cassie. The way that he's treated Cassie, their relationship, all of this is just totally disgusting. Like, there's no excuse for it. But we have to remember what he's charged with. He's not charged with being a good person. He's not charged with, being a great boyfriend. He's not charged with being nice. He's charged with racketeering, um, transportation for prostitution, and sex trafficking. Let's get into it a little bit. So, let's get into it a little bit. Okay, so first, let me go ahead and go into his charges. So, in his original indictment, okay, the charges that he he received 3 charges. Now, these charges have a maximum of life in prison and the minimum that he could be um uh what's the word? Given, but that's not it. Um Set. Anyway, the minimum time that he could receive is 10 years. Okay. So he has 2 charges with a life in prison maximum. Okay. So the first one is racketeering conspiracy. The second charge, now this racketeering conspiracy carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Then he also has 1 count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. And this one carries a maximum sentence of life in prison and a mandatory minimum sentence of at least 15 years in prison. So if he is found guilty of this second charge of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, then the smallest amount of time he would get for that would be 15 years. And then he has 1 count of transportation for purposes of prostitution, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. So if he were found guilty for this charge only, the 1 count of transportation for purposes of prostitution, the most he would get would be 10 years. He could technically get 1 year or 2 years for that if he were found guilty for that. So if we are really wanting Diddy to spend the rest of his life in jail, he needs to be found guilty on racketeering conspiracy. All right. That's his only bet. Let's see. Okay, that and the sex trafficking, those are his only bets of possibly spending life in prison. Now, neither one of those have a mandatory sentence. So he can receive anywhere from the minimum of 15 years for the sex trafficking charge to life in prison. All right, now, when you are listening to this testimony, reading this testimony, getting the updates, listening to commentary, what you need to be listening for is, are they proving the standard of what it takes to be found guilty for sex trafficking or racketeering or even this transportation? Since this transportation for purposes of prostitution only has a maximum of 10 years, I don't really want to focus on that one. What I really want to focus on is the racketeering, and I want to focus on the sex trafficking because those have an opportunity to, get them in prison for between 15 to life in prison. All right. So if you have not seen my video from earlier and you got a little bit of time, and tomorrow is Saturday, I know y'all gonna be cleaning up. Instead of playing your gospel music, play my video. All right, and go into really what this case is really founded on, so that next week when you're listening to the the testimony and reading the updates and all of that, you will know really what you should be paying attention to. But let me go ahead and go forward a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so my next slide is going to explain what these charges are. Okay, I wish I could speed it up without messing it up. Okay, there we go. So racketeering. Now, racketeering is a set of illegal activities aimed at commercial profit. And now this may be disguised as legitimate business deals. Racketeering is also defined by a coordinated effort by multiple people to repeatedly earn a profit. And now this is typically by fraud, extortion, or bribery. That also means threats, violence, and other illegal means. Now let me go ahead and take a pause right here. Now, this is actually the RICO case. If you hear people talking about a RICO case, it's actually this Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act. That's what a RICO case is. Now, if you remember from with the Young Thug trial a few months ago, maybe a year ago, whatever, that was a RICO case. And the reason why that was a RICO case is because it involved his gang, the YSL gang or whatever they was called. Listen, I'm hip, okay? I'm hip, but I don't be paying attention to all them rappers and stuff like that, okay? So I don't know their names. So if I make a mistake on that, forgive it, okay? Because I don't really be paying attention to their names. But that was a RICO case. And the issue that I'm having so far with what's going on with the Diddy trial is that as of right now, neither the prosecution or got a message, hold on. Okay. Even if or the prosecution nor the defense has laid out a network of individuals. Now, with racketeering, you need at least another person. It has to be a group, okay? It says by multiple people. So multiple people can be Diddy and one other person. It could be his mama, it could be his sons, one of his sons, it just has to be Diddy and another person. And as of right now, they have not laid out that there is more than one person that's helping make this stuff happen. Now, they have listed staff members, they have listed some of the bodyguards that kind of helped take care of Cassie. And we will get into her testimony little by little over the next couple days. I'm going to go back to her initial testimony so that we can really pay attention to what she said. Because from my perspective, now this is just my perspective, from my perspective, Cassie, neither the sex worker that they put on second or the security guard or police officer that they put on first, neither of those witnesses have made this a racketeering or testified to it being a racketeering or a RICO case. They said these people were there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they participated in these activities aimed at turning a profit, okay? They may not have participated in fraud or extortion or bribery, threats, violence, and other illegal means. They could have been there, but that doesn't mean that they participated in it. So this case is supposed to take 8 weeks. So we about to be together for a long time, okay? And I'm so excited about it. But we about to be together for the next couple weeks because we're really gonna break this thing down and we're really gonna pay attention to what's being said. Now, from my perspective, Diddy has done so many people wrong. I mean, we know this over the past 20 years. Y'all know I am in my 40s, okay? So I was rocking with Diddy and them back when it was Junior Mafia and all of that, okay? So these kind of like my friends a little bit, my friends in my head, okay? Um, so to kind of see this thing unfolded with someone that or a group of people that I kind of feel familiar with, I really want to get into the nitty gritty of it. Now we know that Diddy has always been a an asshole. Like Diddy has always been trash. He has treated everybody as trash, and he has done some of the most, you know, disrespectful things and just the way he treat people and all of this stuff. So, Diddy need to go to jail. But the fact is that the only way he can get there is if we meet the standard of these things that they charged him with. In my opinion, they should have found something. They should have focused more on violent acts, anything that would get him in prison for maybe the grape, maybe the domestic abuse, maybe assault or something like that. Those are things that Diddy can easily be convicted of. If he had been charged with domestic abuse or rape or anything like that, Cassie would have already had him guilty just based on her testimony alone. Um, just based on her testimony alone. Now, there are so many other key figures that will be coming up over the next 8 weeks. So we don't know. That's why we need to pay attention every day and kind of see what's said in these updates so that we can kind of see where things are leaning. But as of right now, when it comes to racketeering, they haven't proved that it was a network, that it was a group of people. What they have just been speaking of specifically is Diddy and even Cassie a lot, bringing forth these sex parties, these freak offs, planning them and stuff like that. If you really want to think about it in terms of racketeering and think of the fact that you need a group element, Cassie has implicated herself because she has admitted to bringing these parties and planning them out and all of this type of stuff. So, when it comes to the sex parties and racketeering, it hasn't really been proven yet. The witnesses are not on trial. The witness, Cassie, isn't the co-defendant. So you know, they have not proven that he has been guilty of racketeering just yet. Now, it's only been 1 week. It's only been like 5 days of testimony. So we got a long way to go. We got a whole bunch of more people to see, a whole bunch of more tea to hear. Okay. So who knows where we will be next week. But as of today on Friday, they have not really even begun to speak to him as a racketeer just yet. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to my video. Take a listen to it because I read the opening statements, and the opening statements really lay out what the prosecution is expecting to share during the trial and what the defense is expecting to share during the trial. And the defense is adamant that he's not a racketeer. So, you know, we'll have to see what the next witnesses are saying. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what his next charge is. The next one is sex trafficking. Okay, now this is a form of human trafficking, and this focuses on transporting or exploiting a person to use them for sexual acts. Okay, this defines sex trafficking as the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of a commercial sex act. That section defines a commercial sex act as any sex act on account of which anything of value is given or received by any person. Now, if you go back to the opening statements, the prosecution talked a lot about this and the defense talked about this as well. This is the one thing that they could probably get Diddy on really easily. Now, from the testimony that have gone forth so far, the um the uh the sex worker could be he could meet the standard for providing a sex act and receiving something in return for that. You know, anything of value was given to him. He could meet that standard. The only problem with that is that Cassie set it up. So it wasn't necessarily Diddy that set that one up. He admitted on the stand, and we'll go back through that testimony. So check my future videos. But he admitted that Cassie paid him and she answered the door and she set up everything. And she was the one texting him and she was the one calling him. Diddy was just sitting there in a chair looking stupid. Okay. That's what he said. Okay. So when it comes to sex trafficking, to meeting that standard, as of right now, what they have put forth doesn't necessarily meet that standard. Now, you could say that he sex trafficked Cassie. And that's one thing that I have been hearing the prosecution, that's the one direction that they want to send the case in, that he has been sex trafficking Cassie. But now, I feel, this is just my thought, I feel that with a lot of Cassie's testimony, Cassie has painted a horrible picture of domestic violence for sure. They had a very violent relationship. They had a relationship I would never want my child or anybody I love to be involved in. However, they have painted this or framed this interaction between Cassie and Diddy as a relationship. And Cassie herself has admitted that this was a relationship in her mind. It just was one that he was cheating on her end, and she wanted to be in a relationship with him. She wanted to do anything in her power to be in a relationship with him. She wanted to make him happy. She loved him and he loved her. And a lot of the text messages that they've been sharing today, for people on the outside looking in who are not looking at these charges and what it takes to meet the standards of these charges, these text messages just seem like a waste of time. But what these text messages are actually showing is that Cassie loved him. That's what they showed yesterday for sure. Cassie loved him and he loved her. And he was an asshole, but they were kind of together. And what they showed today, this is the thing. I want us to go over this a little bit, and I'm gonna go over it today if I can. What Cassie said today is that she don't have a problem with him. Is that she don't hate him. Is that she said most recently in the last like hour that she wouldn't be in this place in her life without him. Basically, that she has come to a better place in life. These are the text messages that she was sending in 2016 to him, or 2018 when they broke up, that she's not mad at him and she loved him and she wanted to be with him. And we learned yesterday that she cheated on her now husband with him. So back then, when this whole thing was happening, when they broke up, Cassie still loved him and still wanted to be with him. That shows that she was not sex trafficked, okay? And that shows that she was not, listen, Cassie described how she left the relationship. She made a choice. And if you listen to this, to my video, and I go through the opening statements, the prosecution states that Cassie made a choice to leave. And Cassie admitted that she made a choice to leave. And that she talked to Diddy after she left. And they came together and she wanted some type of closure, and they had conversations. And she then said that he ended up raping her. But then a couple days later, they got together and had a consensual encounter. So Cassie has really dug herself into a hole, if you ask me. She's been honest, she's been transparent, she's been forthcoming. However, she has also painted this interaction with Diddy as volatile, as disrespectful, as a relationship that none of us would ever want to be in, but not one that was founded in sex trafficking, not one that was founded in being held against her will, and not one where she didn't have a choice. If you even pay attention to the things that Cassie is saying now on the stand and the way she's treating the defense, you can tell that Cassie had the space, the authority to say what she wanted. In the testimony from yesterday, and even some of the testimony from today, when Cassie talked about how violent she was, or how mad she got, or how she used to fight him, these are things that Cassie admitted herself. She wasn't no little delicate flower. She was whooping some ass when she felt like it. She said that today, she said that she was more inclined to whoop some ass when she was drunk versus when she had been doing drugs. So these are all things that the defense had Cassie willingly say on her own. So from my perspective, if you are really paying attention, and I'm just thinking as a juror myself, if I'm just listening to what's going on, Cassie was done wrong. Terrible relationship. But she made a lot of choices, and she had the freedom and space to make those choices. And that's the thing that you really got to pay attention to when you talk about sex trafficking. Okay. And so let's get into the last one, because I see I can talk y'all ear off. Okay. Let's get into this last charge and what is required for this last charge. And then we'll get into some updates and see what has been being said recently. Now, I think that they are just about finished with Cassie, and then they are going to be bringing Don Richard on. Now, the thing with, I'm going to take a pause there. Listen, let's go into this last charge. This is the charge for transportation. Now, I'm not really focused on this charge because, like I said, there's a maximum of 10 years. So he could get time served for this. He could get probation for this. Like, this to me is not a serious enough charge to even really be talking about. Okay, because the max is just 10 years. But anyway, this is with the transportation for the purposes of prostitution. So they say that there's this act called the Mann Act, and you should look it up. It's about way back in the day, like about slaves and transporting girls and stuff like that. Now, it says, in general, whoever knowingly transports any individual in interstate or foreign commerce or any territory or possession of the United States with intent that such individual engage in prostitution or in any sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense or attempts to do so shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 10 years or both. So technically, if you want to say when you fly somebody out, when you have these sex workers from Craigslist and Backpage that Cassie admitted to arranging, and you send them to Miami or LA or New York or New Jersey or whatever she mentioned, then technically, yeah, I think that this meets the standard. And, that's a standalone charge. As of right now, from the three charges that he has, I can see him being found guilty today of transportation for prostitution if we want to be technical. But I wouldn't see him being found guilty for racketeering today or sex trafficking today, the broader sex trafficking. Okay. I wouldn't see that. As an outsider to the court, I haven't heard all of the testimony, thinking from a juror's perspective, not from a person that's biased or taking a side. Either way, I could see him maybe being found guilty or meeting the standard for this one, but not the other two. Okay. So those are the three charges, and those are the standards. Like I said, I made this video earlier today, so check it out. It's like an hour and a half long, but it really goes into depth about the charges, the process for the trial, and then the opening statements, which will tell you exactly from the prosecution side and the defense side what angle they're coming from. Okay. So let's take a pause right there and let's go ahead and go to some of the updates. Yes, you can hear me. Hey, Lala, thank you so much. Or Lola, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. Um, let's see what we got. Some of these updates. Okay. Okay. Hold on, Lola. Let me see. Let me get me to my my CNN. Now, I have been following a few different websites. I follow this guy called Inner City Press um, on X. I follow CNN live updates. I follow um, a couple more: BBC, Washington Post, New York Times, just different sites that are updating. If you really are interested in this case, like I am, just start gathering information. And I follow a lot of YouTubers too that kind of have been breaking this down. You can come here with me because I'm gonna be here every day and I'm gonna be compiling this information. And I really want us to have the space to talk about it. Okay. So let's see. Let's go here. Okay, we got 5 updates right there. Okay, so let's see what they are talking about here. But first, Lola, let me see what you said. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Lola. I appreciate it. Y'all listen, I need 225 subscribers to get to my 1,000. So help your girl out, okay? Help your girl out. And let's have fun while we're doing it. Now, I can also bring up people on the stage. So if you want to join the stream, you want to talk about it, like let's do it. When I tell you that Puffy, that Biggie, that Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, all of them, like y'all, I know all the raps, okay? I know all the dances. You know what I'm saying? I know all the escargot, Marcargo 350. Wait, is it 160? Whatever they were saying, him and Biggie, I got that. Okay. So I really know a lot about Diddy and Cassie and this whole thing. So this is just crazy for me to to be covering. Like I really want to get deep down into it. Now, another that I feel that way about was R. Kelly. Now, I really wasn't into creating content back when R. Kelly was going through his thing. But if he was going through his thing, I mean, if I was into creating content, then I probably would have felt the same way and wanted to really dive deep into what was going on, because I kind of feel like I got background knowledge, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all subscribe and come see me because next week we're going to be here every day trying to understand what's going on. Now, yes, the volume is good. I like how you said he is not charged with being a good boyfriend, etc. And that's true. And see, Lola, a lot of us are thinking like we hate Puffy, and we do, right? We got valid reasons to hate this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he deserves it. He deserves to be hated by all of us because, he just been bogus. When I think about 112 and them, really good quality groups that were talented and just wanted a chance, in the industry. And I think about how he exploited them and cheated them and robbed them and did them bogus. Of course, like he deserves to like suffer. I mean, like we need some justice. We need some justice for everybody who was on Bad Boy. Another one that I really be thinking about is Carl Thomas. Let me tell y'all, when I was like 15 or 16, I probably was 14, 15. I had my first job, okay? I bought Carl Thomas CD like 7 times. I used to be the only person who cleaned up. I have a little sister. And so I was in charge of cleaning up and she was in charge of cooking. So every day it was my responsibility to clean the house and all of this stuff. And I had two little brothers. So I would put on my Carl Thomas CD and my little boom box, and I would listen to that CD from the first song all the way to the last song. And I just listened to it all day. I went to look for my CD one day and found that my CD was broke in half under the couch. They hated on me, y'all. They was mad that I was listening to this CD all day and they broke my CD. So I had a job and I had $15.99 to go back to Best Buy and get me another CD. So I went back and I got me another CD. And would you know that they broke my CD again? Okay. Anyway, I I feel so bad about Carl Thomas and how he was done and how just a lot of them, musical acts were done during that time. So even though I used to really jam to Puffy, Puffy, I mean, we need some justice. I know they was bogus. Lola, they was bogus. But my brother and sister, my brothers, I got two little brothers and a sister, they used to gang up and bully me. So I ain't even mad. But yeah, they did me bogus. But we need some justice for them. And of course, this might be a time where a lot of people feel like we get justice for people that we held dear, Carl Thomas and even Mace and Shine and everything that happened with him back in the day. Because Diddy just, Craig Mack, the vision that I have of Craig Mack in my mind of him before he died is just like so sad. You know what I'm saying? Biggie, even Tupac, we might feel like this is a time to get justice. But the thing is that the state or the federal government charged him on 3 specific things. And as of today, they have not met those standards just yet. We got a long way to go. And I'm hoping that I hear language from these witnesses that will prove the standards of those charges, because Diddy definitely needs to be held accountable. So yeah, justice for my CD, girl. Justice for my CD, okay? And see, Craig Mack with the flavor in your ear, like, like we need some justice. And a lot of us are looking to get our justice for how wrong we was done back in the day, now. But they need to go ahead and say the right words, and these witnesses need to come on with the right testimony so that we can get our justice, because my CD didn't deserve that. Okay. Now, let's get into some of these updates. So, I'm going to, after this live, make another video about, I want to break it down for the first day of testimony all the way till now. But we can talk about a little bit of testimony now, because testimony there is wrapping up. It's 1 p.m. where I am. So that means it is about to be 4 p.m. there. I think that court ends at 5 there this week, and then next week it'll end at 3. Okay, so I'll be getting up early in the morning and with y'all until 3 p.m. Eastern next week, so we can discuss all of this. But the most recent update on CNN, it says the world has gotten to witness the strength and bravery of my wife, Cassie Ventura's husband says. Okay, so Doug Windor, Cassie Ventura's attorney, read a statement on behalf of her husband, Alex Fine, after Ventura finished testifying in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, so Cassie is finally off the stand. Let's hear what her husband has to say. Over the past 5 days, the world has gotten to witness the strength and bravery of my wife, freeing herself of her past. There has been speculation online surrounding how it must feel for me to sit there and listen to my wife's testimony. I have felt so many things sitting there. I felt tremendous pride and overwhelming love for Cass. I felt profound anger that she has been subjected to sitting in front of a person who tried to break her. So, to him and all of those who helped him along the way, please know this: you did not. You did not break her spirit nor her smile that lights up every room. You did not break the souls of a mother who gives the best hugs and plays the silliest games with our little girls. Why is this making me tear up a little bit? Okay. Oh my goodness. This is really about to take me under. Okay. You did not break the woman who has made me a better man. Pause. I'm going to pause here. Listen, in just this one statement, Alex used language that could convict him for racketeering off top. Okay. Cassie didn't use this language, and Alex is not on the stand. Okay. But this, even just the first paragraph of this statement, is so emotionally charged. I mean, I just almost was in tears reading this. But he says that he felt so many things sitting there. He's felt tremendous pride and overwhelming love for her. And he felt profound anger for what she was subjected to, okay? And sitting in front of a person who tried to break her. Now, if you really pay attention to emotional manipulation, and this is a lot of what has taken place in this case, you know, Diddy has been emotionally and mentally abusive and manipulative over Cassie. Now, I think his tactics of emotional and mental and even social abuse, okay, those manipulation tactics and abusive tactics are actually what kept her in the relationship. It's not necessarily that she couldn't leave. I think he would have wowed out. Yeah, he did some things, right? And Cassie also mentioned that she had been cheating on him or she had been getting with other guys. They both kind of knew that each other was dealing with other people. Okay. So I think what really held Cassie to him for so long was the emotional, mental, and social manipulation and abuse tactics that he would levy against her. You know, and I think that she experienced a lot of violence, but really what kept her there was the fact that she was so in love with him. And all she really wanted was for that love to be returned. Another angle that I think that Cassie has been using this case for, because she got what she wanted, not necessarily what she wanted, but she got compensation when she got the 20 million. You know, we saw that she had filed a civil case against him for 30 million, and we found out that she actually was granted, 20 million, and she received 20 million. So I don't know if it was actually 30 and 10 went to the team and she got the 20 or whatever, but she got her compensation. But was that she wanted to be able to sit face to and let him know, this is what you did, this is how you hurt me, and I'm going to force you to hear about what you've done to me and how you made me feel about this. She mentioned in her testimony yesterday, I think it was, that she wrote a book about her experiences and stuff, and his assistant, which was her friend, confirmed that they never even paid attention to the book. She wanted Diddy to feel her. Okay, she wanted him to feel her. And this whole testimony was her attempt of getting her closure and her making sure that he felt her. Okay. Now, this statement that her husband just wrote is more of that. It's making sure that Diddy understands, like, you've been running for the past 8 years or however it's been since they divorced, since they broke up. You've been running and you've been trying to evade hearing how you actually, affected me. But today you're going to sit here, these couple days, you're going to sit here and you're going to listen to how you tried to destroy me. And then my man is gonna support me and let you know that even though you tried, you didn't succeed. This was this was awesome. Yes, Lola. His statement really resonates with me as well. Now let's finish the rest because I'm a little stronger now, okay? And maybe I can make it through this next paragraph without tearing up, okay? But he says, I did not save Cassie, as some have said. To say that is an insult to the years of painful work my wife has done to save herself. Child, whew, boy, Cassie gonna give you everything you deserve tonight, okay? Cassie saved herself. And he's saying, listen, don't give me none of the credit. She has used her strategy from day one to save herself. Even when she was going through these freak offs as a matter of survival and all of this stuff, it was all a part of her strategy to save herself. He says, Cassie saved Cassie. Whew. She alone broke free from abuse, coercion, violence, and threats. Y'all, okay, she did the work of fighting the demons that only a demon himself could have done to her. All I have done is love her as she has loved me. Her life is now surrounded by love, laughter, and our family. This horrific chapter is forever put behind us, and we will not be making additional statements. Y'all, they done. We appreciate all of the love and support we have received, and we ask that you respect our privacy as we welcome our son into a world that is now safer because of his mom. Boy, Alex, if you ain't showed the world how a strong man stand behind his woman as she faces her past, I mean, I ain't never seen nothing like that. I ain't never seen nothing like that. And to just hear all of the things that Cassie has gone through over the past years, just hearing her recounting of it and him still standing there strong and resilient, that's so crazy. That is so awesome of him. I mean, that is so amazing of him to say. That was such a great statement. And you know what? That don't even sound like a statement that a PR agent wrote or somebody helped him craft. That sounded like something that was straight from his heart. That was a great statement. You know, I feel like that statement did more for Cassie, and even the case, I don't think the jury may have heard this unless they read this letter to the jury, but that was more touching than a lot of other stuff that I've heard and read. That was an amazing statement. Let me go back and see what these other updates are saying. It says the next witness is a special agent who handled logistics for Combs's 2024 arrest. Prosecutor Madison Smizer is questioning Yasin Binda, a Homeland Security investigation special agent who works in the Human Trafficking Division at the department. Binda confirmed that she handled the logistics for Sean Diddy Combs' arrest on May 16, 2024. She said she searched the room at the Park Hyatt where Combs was staying. Now, let's read this one. This is a lot right here. So this is a little catch up of her testimony today. Now, she read a lot of text messages and things like that today and yesterday. So in my next video, I will go through those text messages a little bit more in depth from the information that I found. But I just wanted to really get a chance to talk about Cassie being on the stand and her direct or her cross-examination before she got off the stand today. And I wanted to go live, okay? Because I ain't been live, but I'm up in here, okay? Cassie Ventura is off the stand. Catch up on her testimony today. Cassie Ventura finished her time on the stand today, answering questions from both sides in Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal trial. Her testimony wrapped up after nearly 20 hours over 4 days on the witness stand. On Friday, she testified more about physical abuse at the hands of Combs and the drug-fueled freak-offs that happened over the course of their more than decade-long relationship. When Combs's defense attorney finished her main cross, oh my goodness, I gotta get ready to go. I gotta get ready to go because um, I told my kids that I was gonna pick them up today for after school, and they get out today at 1:30. I told them that I was gonna pick them up because let me tell y'all, let me hurry up. Let me tell y'all, them kids be cutting up on that bus, but you know what? They get here at they get here at 1:30, which means that they already on the bus. Let me text my daughter. Hold on once. These kids on the bus, they be cutting up, they be doing all kind of stuff on that bus. Um, and I'm finna start picking my kids up and taking them to school myself because this is their first time riding a bus and they be acting up on that bus. Thank you for the compliment, Lola. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You can tell how passionate I am about this case. Okay. So anyway, let me see. My daughter ain't texted me back yet, but her phone is on. Let me see. She read it. Hold on. Oh, she's on the bus. Okay. So my son probably get on the bus too. Okay. We in a new school district and it's crazy because they all ride. It's only like 3 schools in this district, so they pick up the elementary school is 2 different elementary schools and then there's a middle school. So the 2 elementary schools ride together. So they go to one school first and drop off some of the kids and then go to the other school and then they pick them up. Okay, let me tell her to make sure he gets on. Okay. So they'll be here in a few minutes. So I got a couple more minutes, and then we have a play date with some of his peers. But I'm gonna come back, okay, and we're gonna talk more about this after that. So she's off the stand, and so when Combs' defense attorney finished her main cross-examination of Ventura, Combs stood and hugged his lawyer when she returned to the defense table. And you know what? Let me tell y'all something. Combs is you know what? His theatrics is what's really putting a bad shadow over this case. Yeah, all of the stuff that he did is horrible, but him smiling, doing little hearts, hugging people, boy, if you don't sit your ass down, you on trial. You on trial. You on trial for doing some of the most disgusting things. Boy, if you don't stop, what you standing up and hugging people for? You know what? I'm wondering if he high right now. I'm wondering if he high right now. If somebody don't tell him to get his court decorum together, let's read a little bit about some of the stuff we covered today in the trial while he's standing up, hugging people, looking stupid. Okay. Physical abuse. So the defense says that Ventura says she believes Combs was intoxicated, but said she couldn't objectively define whether he was in a blackout when he dragged and kicked her in a March 2016 assault captured by hotel surveillance cameras. Ventura also accused Combs of other controlling behavior, testifying that he would take her phone or passport when he was angry with her. Now, when you think about that, see, even him taking that passport, that is a kidnapping charge, maybe, right? But racketeering, nope. Um, um, Sex trafficking? Nope. See, in my opinion, prosecution should have really thought more strategically about what they charged him with. Prosecution redirect. Ventura said that there were times Combs didn't remember physically abusing her, but there were times where he was pretty aware of what he was doing. She also added, "It's just who he was," and that she had seen him be violent with other people. See, they should have charged him with some element of violence. They should have charged him with some element of kidnapping as well, because these are things that we can prove right. If he had been charged with violence, some element of violence, and some element of kidnapping, he would already have been found guilty this week. Trial doesn't mean he has been convicted. No, it doesn't. Who is this? Aladi first? No, it doesn't. The reason why I am going deep into this, and I hope that you come back and join me over the next couple days, is because I want to pay attention to the details. Okay, I feel like he needs to be convicted of something, but I also fear that they didn't charge him with the right things to be convicted of anything. I don't think he's gonna get off because the Fed's not gonna bring a case that somebody can just easily get out of. But at the same time, some of these charges may be difficult to prove with the witnesses that they bring on stand to testify. I don't know. It's a lot more witnesses to go through, and there's a lot more time in this trial left. So I can't say for sure that he'll be convicted or he won't be convicted. What I can say is that he deserved to be convicted of something. I mean, Diddy been cutting up for years, and we all know this. So he definitely needs to be convicted of something. But can he be convicted of the 3 charges that they have laid against him? And that's why we're going to come together and we're going to talk about it. Okay? So, a lad, keep coming back, because we need everybody, Lola, we need everybody's perspective. And like I said, we can have a panel discussion. Y'all don't have to get on camera and all of this type of stuff, but we can have a panel discussion and we can really talk about it, because this is the trial of the century. Okay? This is the trial of the century. This is one of the biggest trials that will probably ever go down in history. So we really need to talk about this. Okay? So now the rape allegation. The defense. Other texts presented by the jury showed the pair going back and forth about dating and seeing other people in 2018. The defense asked questions about where those texts fell on the timeline of events that year, after Ventura alleged that Combs raped her following a 2018 dinner. Prosecution redirect. When asked if she had any doubt that Combs raped her in 2018, Ventura answered no. So from her perspective, she was definitely raped by him. So why didn't they charge him with rape? Why not? And this is something that she can prove. This is something that probably from them freak off tapes, just the nature of the freak off, just her saying that she had the sores, and we'll go into it over the next couple days. She had the sores, that she was with different sex workers, that she did things that she didn't want to do, the urine and all of this type of stuff, that could have proved a rape easily. Why didn't they charge him with a rape? They could have easily charged him with a rape. Even without the biology part of it, they could have gotten a rape conviction just based on Cassie alone. Now, what I'm saying is that they got Don Richard coming up next. Now, she may be able to prove something that leads to racketeering or lends credibility to racketeering based on some of the things that I've heard. And I think she has a suit against him, a civil suit against him that she filed about a year ago. She may be able to prove something along the lines of racketeering or maybe even sex trafficking, maybe. But what Cassie and the sex worker and the hotel worker, those 3 people, they have not proven those 3 charges that he's charged with really at all. They have listed some disgusting behavior, but it ain't really in alignment. It doesn't really meet the standard of the charges. And what we are focused on in this conversation, in these meetings that we're going to have with each other over the next couple days and weeks, What we are focusing on is hearing the language that meets the standards to gain a conviction for the charges that are laid against him. Not well, we can dog him out for his trifling behavior. Let's drag him. We can drag him for that, okay? But we also want to listen to the language that that's coming forth in these testimonies, so that we can really see if this trial is walking towards a conviction, or if he may go free just with all his tea being spilled out here, because they spilling some tea. Now, we're gonna get into her testimony a little bit, but she said that he liked to have the cream from the sex worker, that the sex worker would leave inside of her. He liked to have that cream, that male's cream, spread on his body. Okay. And like that was arousing for him. He liked that. Right. So now that's some tea. Okay. Maybe we just finna learn all his business. But they need to start speaking in a way that really leads towards a conviction for the crimes that they have charged him with. Now, my son just woke up from his nap, and then my other baby's gonna be coming home in about 12 minutes, okay? 12 to 20 minutes. So I'm gonna do a little bit more. Let me keep going. Y'all see how much I talk? We got an update up here, but I'm still on the rape allegation. You need help? Mm-hmm. I think it might be in the car. I'll check and see, okay? Okay, give me 1 second. The freak offs. The defense. The jury saw a text exchange in which Ventura said she was going to tell Combs she didn't want to participate in his drug-fueled sex performances anymore, but ultimately didn't say so because of how he reacted. They also heard a recording of Ventura threatening a man in March 2014 after he said he'd seen a sexually explicit video of her. Ventura feared it had been secretly recorded during the freak-off. We'll get into more of that during the testimony review that we'll be going over, okay? The prosecution redirect. Ventura testified that she felt she had a whole other job and that she was basically a sex worker when asked about how the freak-offs interfere with her music career. The judge granted a defense motion to strike that response from the record. And let me tell y'all why they struck that from the record. Now, I ain't no attorney. I know a little something, but I ain't no attorney. But I think that they struck that from the record because what we are reading and what we are evaluating is her mentality. They call it mens rea. Her mens rea from back in 2016 or back in 2018. Now that she know, excuse me, y'all. Now that she know that she's not gonna have a career, and she know that he then used her and played games with her, and she basically they ended up empty-handed, okay? The only reason why she got anything is because she had to sue him to get that 30 million or 20 million. And in order to get that, she had to bear her bones. Nobody really knew what Cassie was going through. Nobody knew that she was in freak offs and having sex with sex workers from Craigslist and Backpage. Nobody knew that. But in order for her to get her 20 million, she had to tell the world that. And now let me tell you something else. Cassie strategically mentioned that she has written a book. And what Cassie is doing is after this trial is over, she's going to drop her book and she is going to rake in her coin from that book. Okay, everybody is going to read that book, and that's another reason why I feel like she has been intentionally vague in her testimony. She's been sharing information in her testimony, of course, but she hasn't really been going in deep detail. There are some things that she could have went deeper in, some things that she could have shared more about, and I think that those things might have even proved the racketeering or the sex trafficking or the transportation for sex trafficking or for prostitution charges that he has. But she has been intentionally vague. And I think that she has been intentionally vague because she's saving that tea for the book. She wants us to go ahead and buy the book. And I might buy the book. Okay, because I might need the details. But that's where she gonna get her bag from. All of the red carpeted appearances and living in a big house with him and driving the nice cars that he had for her and the jewels and all of that type of stuff. When she decided to leave him, all of that stuff went away. Cassie basically left with nothing. Her only recourse to kind of get something out of the last 10 years of her life and these horrific experiences that she had gone through was by suing him. And the only way to sue him was to spill the beans about her own experience and everything that she had went through. And in order to get her big bag, Cassie probably is worth, I looked it up the other day. It says somewhere around 10 million, but we noticed she got 20 million in the settlement. So let's just say that her net worth is 20 million right now in May, late May 2025. Cassie has a net worth of say $20 million. In a year, after this case is done and wrapped and her book comes out, we gonna check her net worth again. I'm telling you, Cassie is probably gonna be worth upwards of 100 million or something like that. Once all this dust settles, Cassie is finna get her bag. But the only way she was able to get it is by bearing her entire soul and telling all her business. And all of us had to hear it in order for her to get there. Listen, as a side note, we're going to talk a little bit more about this in time. But as a side note, whenever you engage with a man, especially a man of means and especially an older man, ladies, we have to be strategic. There has to be a start game and an end game. All right. It's all good. It's always all good when things are flowing. But at the end of that relationship, on the final day of that relationship, you are leaving that relationship with whatever you have then. That's it. So listen, listen, look at Young Miami. Young Miami was talking to Diddy and she was living it up on the French Riviera. Okay. And then she messed around and told people that she enjoyed letting people pee pee on her. So now all she got is a bunch of stuff from Chanel and everybody knowing that she like being pee-peed on. Listen, get you some tangibles, some property, some real estate, some foreign accounts, okay? Some homes in a different country. All right, let's think big, okay? Think big, okay? Anyway, um, let's see. Oh, so they struck this about her saying that she was basically a sex worker, and that's because today that's all she felt like she was, a sex worker. But if you read if you listen to her commentary from them text messages from 2016, she felt like she was in a relationship and she felt like she was in love. Her mentality, her men's right back in 2016 was that they was in a relationship and they was in love and she wanted to do whatever she needed to do. She chose, she voluntarily chose. That's what she said. She chose to do whatever she needed to do in order for them to have a good relationship, in order to spend more time with him. That's just what she said, okay? Now, so that's why they struck that, because that she talking from a 2025 perspective with that statement, and they couldn't let that ride because we talking about 2016. Now, the text messages says that in defense, the messages from March and May 2019 after they broke up, Combs texted Ventura in part, sending you love, and told her she was going to make a beautiful mother. Ventura testified she was pregnant. In later messages, Combs told her that things had definitely been rough without your friendship, and he has nothing but love for you always. Let me tell you, we will go deeper into the testimony, Cassie's testimony. We're going to go deeper into it. But that right there deflates any type of sex trafficking claims or charges that they could make, any type of racketeering charges or claims that they could make. They had a lovey-dovey conversation in 2019 after he allegedly raped her, after he, take that out, baby. Come right here, okay? And give me a few minutes, okay? After he allegedly raped her, after he allegedly tore her life up, and we believe that he did all of this stuff, but we talking about what you can prove in court. Okay, after all of that, she and him was exchanging lovey-dovey text messages talking about how I'm not mad at you, and you just been my ride or die. She told him she wasn't mad at him, and he told her that she been his ride or die. Listen, you got to be careful about what you say about somebody who done you wrong. Okay? If somebody done dogged you out today, guess what? If they done dogged you out 2 weeks ago, the conversation still that you done dogged me out when everything, when all of the dust done settled. Ain't no forgiveness. Ain't no I'm past it. Nah, you a dirty dog today, and you was one 2 weeks ago as well. Okay? The prosecution redirect. In response to a question about the messages, the jury saw where she and Combs expressed love for each other throughout the defense questioning. Ventura testified that there were times when Combs was kind and loving, but they didn't last. This is prosecution. Listen, this is what the prosecution is saying. Okay? This is what the prosecution is saying. This ain't that ain't come from the defense perspective. That is what the prosecution is saying. Cassie's testimony has been earth shattering. It has just been a moment, like her husband said, for her to come to terms with her past and free herself, and to be able to look him dead in his eye and say, I'm finna let you know, I'm finna get my closure today. I'm gonna tell you how you had me messed up. But this interaction between her and him during this trial, today, yesterday, the day before, ain't been nothing but them going over their relationship. Ain't been nothing but them reflecting on their past. What they've been doing, Puffy standing up, hugging folks, and doing the little heart symbol, and Cassie over here walking down memory lane with fond memories and all of this type of stuff. Listen, that ain't nothing but them two coming to closure from the prosecution opening statement. And that's why I want y'all to go back and watch my last video that I dropped about this. The prosecution says that they have not seen each other since 2018. This is their first time seeing each other since then. Oh, what? My daughter texted me. Sorry, y'all. They on the bus. They be acting up on that bus. Um, so they haven't seen each other since 2018. Okay? So this was them coming together, two people who loved each other and a man who dogged a woman out. They didn't come together, and they didn't healed and had their closure in front of all of us. But what they haven't done, what she hasn't done, is help to prove the standard for these. Don't do that yet, baby. To help prove the standard. Mom, you could face me. Oh, I'm sorry, big guy. I'm sorry. What they haven't done is help to prove the standard that will lead to a conviction for these 3 charges that he has. Okay. Okay. The civil settlement. Ventura says she and her husband and their kids moved into her parents' Connecticut home in 2023, and that they were transitioning to live on the East Coast. The defense asked if she canceled her tour around that time because she found out she was going to get the $20 million civil suit from the statement. That wasn't the reason why, she said. The prosecution redirect. Ventura testified that she would give the money settlement back if it meant she never had to endure the freak offs. Don't do that. Bursting into tears, Ventura continued, if I never had to have freak offs, I would have had agency and autonomy. All right, let's see what these other updates are saying. Okay, so this is more about, oh, one more. Give me 1 second and I'll get your phone for you, okay? Okay, go over there. Okay, let me see. My baby been, my big guy, because I can't call him a baby, been taking a nap and stuff. So Ventura's testimony was only one part of the case, the former prosecutor says. There's a lot of more case left. There is almost 8 weeks more of trial left, y'all, and there's a lot of more witnesses for us to go through. So that's why we need to get together and we need to talk about this every day. Okay, Ventura's testimony was only one part of the case, former prosecutor says. Cassie Ventura, key witness and Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend, wrapped up testimony today after 4 days on the stand. But her account is only one piece of the puzzle for prosecutors to prove that Combs is guilty in his federal criminal trial, according to Paul Martin, a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. I think that this is just one part of the case, Martin told CNN today. She's a linchpin, but she's not the entire case. And there will be other witnesses that will come in and either corroborate her testimony. There will be other witnesses that will corroborate these free thoughts and whether force was used or not used. But she is definitely a very compelling witness because of the relationship she had with Mr. Combs. Prosecutors over the next few weeks will still need to prove Combs engaged in racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution, all charges the rap mogul has pleaded not guilty to. Now, what did I say? What did I say? This testimony so far has been cool for us to view, and we've been getting all the tea, and we are happy that we have been instrumental in Cassie getting some healing. But this ain't been nothing but a conversation. This ain't been nothing but people telling all Diddy's dirty laundry. Okay, they ain't proved none of these charges just yet, and we still got a little bit more time. So we ain't in no rush. We got eight more weeks. We ain't in no rush. I just want y'all to know where we stand today. Where we stand today is, it was cool to see Cassie and hear her, and I'm so thankful that she has had an opportunity to release this. She said it was a heavy weight to carry. I'm happy that she had an opportunity to release this. But now let's get to proving the standard of these charges. Okay, so we can get some justice for my CD. Okay, here you go, big guy. Let's get some justice from our Carl Thomas CD, okay? Let me see. This is a case about a RICO, Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organizations Act, and whether there's a pattern or behavior of activities. You okay? And whether there was a pattern of behavior of activities that was that violence to force sex out of this young lady, Martin said. That's what we need to be focused on. Look, we gonna talk about it, y'all. We gonna talk about it. Okay, so this special agent, he's a quick witness that they put up here. I think he'll be done by the end of today. It's about 4:35 there in New York, so they're about to wrap up for the rest of the week. I'm gonna stop here because this is the end of Cassie's testimony for today. Okay, and this is a review of Cassie's testimony for today. So I'm gonna work on my other videos that I have regarding the testimony from the sex worker and the hotel worker, and then the video for Cassie for taking a stand under oath with her direct testimony and then her cross-examination. I will get those videos out today. So I want y'all to check those videos out. But I'll come back tomorrow so we can have a little bit of conversation. Maybe we can wrap up the week of everything that we've learned so far in testimony. And then I'll be back Monday morning so that I can go over in real time to kind of get some of these updates out. Okay. I have been going through a lot of different news sites, a lot of different YouTube channels in order to get the most current and up-to-date information about what's going on in the courtroom. Like I said, I used to want to be an attorney. Yep. I used to want to be an attorney. Okay. And so this whole criminal procedural thing this is my cup of tea. And the fact that I know these folks, okay, the fact that I knew Puffy when he was dancing with J-Lo in this Egyptian looking, maybe Mexican salsa in styled interlude, back in the day when he was wearing his shiny silver suits. Okay. The fact that I know these folks just make it even more interesting for me and make me really want to get down to the details and understand what's going on in this case. So I will be riding with this case from now until the conviction to the conviction, because my goal is that we get some justice. And even though I know Puffy a little bit, I know him enough to say that you done a lot of people dirty. And at some point, somebody gonna have to hold you accountable. Just saying that you did this and you sorry and all of this type of stuff, you can go, oh, but it's on the camera. My husband trying to flex for y'all. Okay, he heard me talking to this camera, gonna come walking out here with no shirt on. Yeah, trying to flex in front of the camera. Anyway, my kid's about to come home and come on. My kid's about to come home in a couple minutes anyway. So he out here trying to flex on the camera. Look at that. So anyway, I'm gonna be back in the next couple days. Y'all watch out for my video on the testimony, and look at my last video for that kind of laid a foundation for the charges, the trial map. And if you really got the time, okay, and got the patience, take a listen to the second half of that video. It's a long video. It's about an hour and a half long, because I read the opening statements for both the defense and the prosecution. And you gotta kind of understand where they're coming from and what their angle will be. Just from my unseasoned yet seasoned opinion so far, if the jury was going back to deliberate today, if jury deliberations would take place today based on the three charges that Diddy has, he would be found not guilty. We would know all his business, and we would still hate him for how he did Cassie. We probably would hate him even more for how he did Cassie. But today, he will be found not guilty because they haven't proven the racketeering. Well, he might be found guilty for the transportation for sex, maybe. Maybe. But like I said, that is a maximum of 10 years. I think it was 15 years. That's a maximum of 15 years, which ain't enough time. We focused on the 2 life sentences, the charges that carry the 2 life sentences. All right. Well, if we gonna get our justice, we don't want no couple years. Okay. We want him to be gone. Okay. We gonna get our justice. All right. So anyway, let me go ahead and get ready. Hopefully, if I can, I'll come back a little bit later on and we can chop it up. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Leave some comments below. Do y'all want to have an open panel so y'all can come up here and tell me what y'all think? We can have a conversation about it. How do y'all feel about the first few days of testimony? Have you really been paying attention to this? Do you have some questions about the trial? Are there some things that you don't quite understand? Is there some information that you are looking for, something that you need described in further detail? Can I share any more information to help you kind of understand where we are and where we're going in this whole thing? Like, My babies are here. They here. So y'all let me know what y'all think, okay? And look out for my other videos. And if I don't see you live again this weekend, I will see you live again early Monday morning. Set your notifications, like this video, subscribe to the video, and I will see, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.